Okay, it's 10:01 a.m. Let's go over two trades I had with AXXA and INND. This is currently INND. I don't like the way it just turned around so quickly, but I am watching this right now. If it tries to do like maybe like a morning panic bounce play lower low, so if it decides to get lower, maybe it just briefly breaks under the 2 cent level, a lot of panic ensues, and then it comes back immediately. That might be a setup, but where it is right now, I don't like it too much, but it can totally make a move towards the upside. I did have an interest in AXXA way in the morning, but I just did not get filled. I did try to buy at 942, 8,000 shares right here when it was looking like it was trying to turn around and make a move towards the top, especially after it was holding VWAP. And I did try to buy at yeah, right at 942, right at the minute open at 192, but I did not get filled. It was a bit too quick. Essentially, I placed my order at 192 because of this right here, but it already started to be at 193 at the ask when I placed the order. And this one made a pretty nice move. And I was trading it earlier at 934. I was in it right here. And that was at 187. So I was in right here. Why? Because it was looking like it was trading back and forth and it was going to hold VWAP and make a move and break ideally this day high right at the morning at 194 and make a nicer move. It's also like above these 2 days right here. It's not above the wick, although it was briefly right here. And it just didn't seem that nice. The price action was kind of choppy, kind of, all in one side and all in the other side, either really up or really down. At 936, I did get out for a slight profit because I didn't like the price action. I got out at 188, which was the very bottom of this candle. It did make a blip to 196, and then it went all the way back under VWAP, back and forth, and that's when I had interest in that second setup right here that I didn't get filled. This one would have been a lot more profitable, but that's totally fine. I at least tried. And then INND, I did trade this. This is like a morning panic bounce play. I wasn't too interested in any of this. I kind of thought I could try to sell off just because of the way it's looking when you look at a multi-day chart, and it did make a move, and I was in 12,000 shares. I don't know if I had the right amount of shares, but I did buy 12,000 shares at 949 at 21. So right here is when I got in. And yeah, this one was instantly profitable. I sold half of my position at 217, and that was at the same minute because it was just so quick. I don't like it when it's super quick because then it makes me feel like it's not going to uptrend that much more. I'd rather it be a slow uptrend than a quick one, but because it was a quick one, I'm in and out very quickly, of course. I did sell there half, and then I sold the other half at 950 just because it was looking like it was going to do just this, top at 22. It didn't look like it was going to do much more, and I did get out at 217, and I think there were some sellers at the ask that showed up with a lot of size, and that was a trade right here. I did have an interest in this, but doesn't look that nice, at least right now. It's a bit, choppy, but I'll continue to watch INND and AXXA, although I'm more interested in INND right now. I'll make an update, but yeah, there's two trades so far, one missed trade. Still plenty of potential setups, I think. All right, it is 10:22. Let's go over the next two trades. I did buy just briefly, as you can see, I got in and out the same, not the same actually, in just 2 minutes. 10:11, I did buy 15,000 shares, and that was at 202. 10:11 was right here. It was essentially getting past the trend line right here. I wanted it to break under 2 cents, but it was holding very nicely, and I thought, you know what? It's not as ideal. I would have liked it if it were to have broken under 2 cents, but it's looking very strong. It's looking like it's trying to be above the trend line, and it might make a move right here. So I did buy. Again, that was with this trade right here at 10:11. Let me get rid of this check mark. 10:11, 15,000 shares at 202. So again, right here I was in at 202, and I got out the next minute at 10:12, and that was at 202, the same price. So this was essentially, a break-even trade. I didn't make or lose anything. I got in right here. Then it looked like it was going to get much further. This was a level. It was not able to break above 205, and then I got out the other half, not the other half, the entire position at 202, and it did downtrend some more. I had to draw a new trend line because it was dropping a lot faster than it was when I had it with this one. And I did buy when it looked like it was trying to make a bottom. I bought 15,000 shares at 10.19, and that was right here at 181. And I got in right here. It looked like it was trying to do it, and I also took into consideration that some of these, when they drop a lot, they have their first big red day, kind of like as what you're seeing right here. It can be very tough for it to turn around, and many times it just has a little blip towards the upside, and that's it, and it just keeps fading downtrending until it finds the ultimate bottom. And maybe this is the ultimate bottom, who knows? We've had a few big volume candles where, you know, a lot of shares just go through. Maybe this is the ultimate bottom. Anyway, I did get out about half of my position at 10.20, and that was right here at 18.5. And then I didn't like the price action anymore. I got out the rest at 10.21 at 18.6. Again, feeling really iffy that some of these that are just dropping continuously on the first day is going to do stuff like this. I mean, this one, like this scratch trade that I had, like had a tiny little blip trying to hold 2 cents, and then it went right back under. And then this one right here had a little uptrend and never broke above this range, this 18.5 level convincingly. This was a little too crazy, and then it just came right back under, broke under 18. I'll continue to watch this. It can ideally try to make a move towards VWAP at some point, maybe an 11 a.m. reversal. I'll make an update later. Alright, it is 10:41, and I did not have a setup to be a part of this, but this was the ultimate move towards VWAP that I was trying to be a part of. And to just go over my thoughts, I liked how it had the trend line, and then a few times it would get above it, but then get right back under it. And then I had that attempt right here when it was trying to hold 2 cents. Essentially, the idea I had is that when it broke past the trend line right here, I wanted it to uptrend, but then I wanted it to go right back down, maybe hold the 18 level, maybe not perfectly, have a few ticks below 17.9, but the idea was that I wanted it to break past the trend line, uptrend a little, downtrend a little, and then have some distance from the trend line, and then it can ideally make a move towards VWAP. This is super impressive. Clearly, a lot of people are just buying it up, and the only point where I would have been in is when it was breaking past the 18.4, 18.5 level, because that was the range that it had to break past, and it tried here, it failed, it tried here, it failed. And it probably would have been just these two candles, 10.30, 10.31, where I would have ideally have been in at the 18.6 level. And if I were to have been in the setup, I likely would have had a trend line maybe from here, the corner of this consolidation candle before the breakout, to probably the corner of this first uptrending candle that actually got well above the breakout level of 18.5. And then at that point, I probably would have sold into pieces on the way up. Maybe I'd be out if I was doing it perfectly, half of my position in this uptrend somewhere. And then I would have sold the other half probably here, because you can see there's a gap from the 2 cent level, and then it opened at 204 above VWAP. I would have thought maybe this is exaggerative to the point that is uptrending so aggressively it even jumped in the next candle. I probably would have sold the other half there. I don't think I would have been a part of this move towards 22, but I think this would have been super profitable. And again, that would have been an entry at 18.6. Pretty nice move. Maybe next time I'll be able to catch it. It can try to maybe dip towards VWAP and then maybe trade around that and hold, and then it could be a reversal setup I could be a part of. But this is the big one that, you know, I think is the most profitable, and I will continue to, yeah, you see it looks very crazy on a 15-minute chart. I will continue to watch this, and I'll make an update later. Pretty good move. I just wanted it again to come back one more time and have some distance from the trend line. I didn't want it to just break past it and just uptrend, because, you know, it failed multiple times before. trying to do something similar to that. Right, it is 7:20 p.m. and I am here to call it off. Overall, I'm gonna be up on the day 15 bucks and 56 cents, and that was AXXA. This one did end up being a little more profitable, but it was just kind of weird the way this one traded. But the idea was there way back at 9:34 to 9:36, and yeah, it was a good attempt. And then this one with INND, I missed out on the big enchilada right here. This was the big move that I missed out on, but it was pretty impressive. And maybe next time I can be a part of it. I did see this also. I had this trend line and broke past it, but I thought it was gonna trade too slowly. And you know, that's also hindsight 2020. It worked out. It did work out. It went from 22 as high as the 24s. It was just kind of, you know, slow the way this one traded. It wasn't anything like it was previously. This one was a nice uptrending stock. I could have paid attention to it more, but it is a very low priced sub penny stock. It's just had its first green day. I want to see if it can continue and have a multi-day setup. I'll be watching this one if tomorrow it can in the morning break above the 42 level and then maybe have like a morning spike or a dip and rip. I'll be watching, or maybe I'll just have this one green day here and I'll sell off. Who knows? That's something I'll keep looking at. This one I did consider. This one I also considered for an 11 a.m. reversal. This one was this one sucked because I was trying to be interested in it. I had a verified cancel order right at 11:16, and as you can see, that's when it started to develop at 17:08, and I wasn't able to be a part of it. I thought this was going to be like an 11 a.m. reversal. Goal was VWAP. It did get under VWAP. It didn't quite exactly get towards VWAP or above it, but this would have been a nice one. I would have been in at 17.8 with 15,000 shares, and it did get as high as the 19.5 level. So that was pretty profitable. Sucks that I wasn't able to be a part of it. And I also looked at this one, but this one wasn't as ideal. This one was a lot more iffy, but this one did make a move in theory from 10 cents as high as this 11-cent level, but this looks something hard to sell into. I'm guessing 10 to 11 right here would have been maybe easier, or perhaps 10 to 10 to 10.7 because of this range is likely the bid and not necessarily the ask, which might be harder to sell into. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just a few setups, and I also did trade this one. This was a listed stock. Where is it? It's not actually here. It's NEPT. Essentially, this was a short squeeze, and I did have an interest in this one because of this trend line that I drew that I seem to have been following. I did buy just 5 tiny shares because I have a $5 risk level with listed stocks. 12.59. I did buy some right around here at 12.59. I bought some at this 270. I would say 276 level is when I got in. Why did I get in? Because it was breaking past this trend line. It was also the first dip under VWAP. And I kind of thought, you know, maybe it's looking like it's trying to do it and break past the line and it could get to VWAP and then above it, and that would be super nice. But you know, there's a chance that maybe it will break past it a tiny bit, a lot of volume, and then it just kind of comes back, and maybe ideally it will continue to hold above this ideal $2.60 level and then uptrend some more. So I actually just bought 5 shares thinking that, you know, if it does it right here, at least I'm in half a position size and I can be a part of it and learn. And if it does come back like I wanted to, I'll have you know, those 5 extra shares that I can buy later, and then I'll be in full sized. And of course, if it doesn't work out, if it, you know, takes a little above it and then it just downtrends and fails absolutely, then, you know, I'll only have 5 shares to cut for losses. That could have been something that I could have applied right here with INND when it just started the uptrend, and I wanted it to go back to the trend line one more time. You know, I could have bought just half of my position size, and then that would have allowed me to have been a part of this. So, yeah, that was like, you know, taking things to the next level and trying to trade better with that in mind. So, it did get above the line and it broke out, but I actually sold before it happened. As you can see, I sold right at the end of 12.59, and let me just get rid of extend hours so it's a bit easier to see. I did get out right before it started the uptrend because I just felt uneasy with it. It's a listed stock. You know, anybody with a lot of, I guess, buying power can just flash awake and just freaking out, and maybe it can just break this level here. Very iffy, but I'm glad I was on the right track, and that's something that, with a lot more experience, I can be able to trade better and with more size. That's all I have for today. Missed out on the big one with INND once again, but at least I did participate in all the other ones. Not too bad for today.